What's up, Basketball Brain fans and members? Today I want to talk about your game face. And it's very important how we control our face because, if you scrunch your face up long enough in like a mean face, you'll eventually start to feel mean and angry. If you smile and raise your eyebrows long enough, you're going to start to feel happy. They've actually done studies that as you change your body, your facial expressions specifically, you start to feel what your face is expressing even if when you first start expressing that via your face, you don't feel anything. Our facial expressions are linked to certain, you might say, brain chemistry. So if we smile long enough, we eventually start to feel happy. If we frown and scowl long enough, we start to feel angry. There are three types of game faces. Now, I want to say very clearly, a lot of players don't have just one game face. Michael Jordan was asked one time, "What's your game face?" And he said, "I have a lot of different game faces." And that's the way you want to approach it. However, there's going to be an overall sort of trend that you have, a certain personality that you have when you play. That'll be the dominant facial expression or game face that you display when you step on the court. So, what are these three types of game faces? The first game face we're going to talk about is the joyous game face. And I can't think of anybody in the NBA who displays it better than Steph Curry. Steve Kerr has a philosophy which is play with joy. It's beautiful. And I wasn't brought up that way. I was told to be tough, fierce, play kind of mean, and tough. Not dirty, but mean and aggressive. And I love the way Curry plays. And as I get older, I want to try to play with joy rather than that fierceness. That's not to say Curry can't be fierce. I don't want you guys to think sometimes I make these videos and you think I'm saying the guy is always like that. I'm talking about trends. I'm talking about, what the predominant mode of expression is. So Curry plays with this joy, the shaking of the shoulders, the goofiness in the warm-ups. All of that is his exuberance for the game. Another player that played with a lot of joy, again, not all the time, was Magic Johnson. The smile, the energy, the intensity, the high fives. I mean, he was Showtime, so you can have that joyous face. So maybe some pickup games you go out and you play with that joyous exuberance and exhilaration for the game. Let's go to the second type of game face. The second type of game face is the no expression game face, the no emotion game face. And I think today somebody who seems to express that, and I did a video about the Ball brothers, are the Ball brothers. Specifically, Lonzo Ball looks like a statue when he plays. He hardly ever shows any emotion. It's very rare. Same with his younger brothers. Very sort of stoic, not too high, not too low. It's just you never know what he's thinking. Personally, not my favorite thing. Another person who shows no emotion is Kawhi Leonard. You don't know if he scored 50 or if he's scored 5. There's no way to tell. That goes for a lot of Spurs players like Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan has that, kind of open mouth, soft eyes. You see him occasionally get a little heated, but it's rare. Again, we're talking about the trends here. John Stockton was this type of player. You never really knew what he was thinking, but they're all fierce competitors. Don't get me wrong. That's what we mean. You can have different game faces. And of course, the last game face is the fierce, aggressive game face, the mean game face, the Michael Jordan game face, the Kobe Bryant game face, the Russell Westbrook game face. Intense, go at it, go after it, really tuned into the game and a sort of warrior mindset. And you're going after it, and your face displays the sort of struggle, the exhilaration, just like with joy, but that struggle you're going through to win. It's kind of Olympic, it's daring, it's bold. It's the style I like best. And a lot of players are so timid because our superego beats us up so much. It's useful to play fierce. But then again, we could also make the case that our superego, that voice in us that always puts us down, well, maybe we should play joyous to loosen it up, to not let it beat us up so much. Or maybe we should just kind of ignore it and keep a calm face. And maybe you can experiment with them. And it might have to do with what your weaknesses are. For instance, if you're kind of lethargic, maybe you want to play with a little bit more joy that has a lot of energy to it. If you're too soft, maybe you want to adopt the fierce face. If you're too emotional, maybe you want to adopt the plain face. What game face do you guys play with? Do you mix them up? Does it depend on your mood during the day? What's your best style to play in? Have you noticed you play better when you're angry? I don't want to say angry, but when you're focused. I know for me, if I feel like somebody on the other team disrespects me, it sort of turns up my intensity, which I've learned to turn into a deeper concentration. I've never really tried to play joyous, so I can't speak too much to that. And I've never had the plain face. I think any of them can be excellent dependent upon what you need. Maybe certain games you need a certain face. I think that's a really good idea and something you should experiment with. I want to thank one of our listeners, Cyrus, who got me going on this topic. I really appreciate it. Great question. Got me thinking about this. And I want you guys to open your mind to be able to have a bunch of different game faces, but you're still locked in and you're still focused. This is basketballbrain.com. We are dedicated to your greatness.